Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Farmington School Board meeting on October 6, 2025. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We do have a public hearing this evening to potentially discuss expending some money for a walk-in cooler that we've been having issues with at Valley View. So I'm going to open the public hearing and run it consecutively here with the board meeting. And I'll read that. Notice of public hearing to the inhabitants of the towns of Farmington. You are hereby notified that pursuant to New Hampshire RSA 198:20-C2, that on October 6, 2025 at 5:30 p.m., the Farmington School Board will be conducting a public hearing for the purpose of the district's proposal of expending funds from the FSD Kitchen Equipment CRF to replace the mechanicals in the walk-in cooler, which are quoted in the amount of at $14,865.91. And during the course of this meeting, if anybody does come in from the public that wants to ask questions about this specific expenditure, I will allow them to do that. Is there anybody that wishes to speak about the expenditure at this time? Oh, I didn't even see you, Mr. Brown. You snuck in.
Melody Lehman. Two questions. Public notice that you read into the record tonight, is that the same notice that appeared in the newspaper?
With the exception of the word invoiced.
So if a member of the public was sitting at home, read the notice in the paper
Yeah.
that something was invoiced, could they not interpret that as it was already bought, why should I bother showing up?
Well, we had hoped by putting the word quoted on the agenda that also gets posted publicly that folks would realize that it was a quote. Because the word invoice was not correct. I get your point, and what we can do is we can scrap this tonight, redo it, and in another 2 weeks, we'll be carrying the milk up for the next 2 weeks. That's the only proposal. I know the point you're making.
That's one point. Let's do it the right way.
Yeah.
In July 1, there's a new chapter. Let's follow that chapter and lead. My second comment is, do you have in front of you a copy of the warrant article that established this fund?
I did.
Well, do you want the warrant article read?
I'd like it read into the record because I sat on the Budget Committee when that warrant article was formed, and I know what the intention of the board was that voted on it. But it would be nice to be read into the record. And then I'll explain why after.
Anybody have it?
No, that's what I'm trying to.
So So while they're looking for it, I'll just make my comment from my interpretation for sitting on the board when that was formed. The warrant article was formed to replace, not repair, kitchen equipment. That was the discussion, because I read the minutes today at the Budget Committee meeting, and that's the thought process that was presented to the Budget Committee when we talked about the warrant article to the Budget Committee. If we're,
Does the warrant article specify the word replace? To your knowledge?
I believe it does, and that's why I
Okay,
asked for it to
okay.
be read into the record.
Okay, Steph has it. You want to read it in?
So it says to see if the town will vote to establish a kitchen equipment capital reserve fund under the provisions of RSA 35-1 for the purpose of replacing kitchen equipment in the Farmington schools, and to vote to raise and appropriate the sum of, at this point, it was $7,500 to be placed in this fund.
Okay, so my point is, the intent of the warrant article was replacement. So when you drop an engine and a transmission in a car and you replace it, you're not replacing the car, you're repairing the car. So what we want to do is we want to, and here's where I'm going with this. What the school board wants to do is they want to make a repair that may not be reimbursable under the trust based on the way the trustees interpret the account. So what I would ask is, how much is new? Because if you buy new, it's clear from the trust that it's reimbursable.
Couldn't you argue that you're replacing parts?
Under being a brand-new refrigerator? No, because that's what the warrant article was designed for.
Larry, do you have the answer as to how much is, and not from there, I'm gonna need you to take a microphone.
Yes, everything, the only thing that will not be replaced is the box itself. All the evaporators, condensers,
I agree with that. But the warrant article was designed for new, not repair. So you can argue the schematics all night long, you can spend the money, and the trustees can say no. I'm trying to prevent that from happening.
But we're not repairing, we're replacing.
You're replacing the components, you're not replacing the refrigerator.
We're replacing with parts for how much, like how much of it? 90% of it? Or, I don't know, I don't know how.
yeah, it would be everything,
But the shell.
boxes, the shell, boxes.
So I mean, I can end the conversation, you can do it and get denied at the trustees level, and then you're not ahead. My question is, what is the difference between a new unit and repairing the existing one? Because you're not replacing it.
Did we even look at a total replacement cost for everything?
No, I can find out, because we did total replacements at Henry Wilson years back.
When's the next trustee meeting, does anyone know?
I mean, you could ask for a sense of the trustees, but it's not binding. They could vote a different way.
Right.
You could
Right.
say, what's your interpretation? They could give you exactly what I'm saying and do something different when the vote comes in. But I think you're much stronger, you know, I think it's clear you don't have the money in your budget to absorb it in your budget. And that's what you're trying to avoid. But if there's money in the trustees and you can afford the new, why not take that risk and buy new? My final comment is, where did the price come from in the public notice hearing?
From a quote from the vendor that services it right now, that's the first.
Okay, so it's over $10,000. What's the school board policy on contracts over $10,000?
3 sealed bids.
Sealed bids.
Seal bids, not quotes. And advertised on the internet, advertised in the newspaper. You've heard it before from me. And you've also heard that when you do it that way, it's a federal crime. So if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Because my next time I say that isn't going to be up at the podium. It's going to be to the Justice Department in Concord. It's time to get away from the good old boy syndrome and do it right. Thank you.
Well, since we have to wait to feel out the trustees anyway, we've got time.
Yeah, I've got other people coming in to quote on.
You had another quote anyway, I thought, no?
We had some inclement weather, we're supposed to get it by the middle of the week right now. The warehouse vendor they deal with had their computers hacked, so they're behind on everything. I've contacted 5 different people to come in.
All right, well, let's
So-
get some bids.
Can I just comment on that?
Hmm.
5 people coming in quoting isn't a sealed bid.
Right, no,
Sealed-
that's why I said, let's get some bids.
Coming in to look at it so
Okay.
they can see what needs to be done.
Okay.
Bid on it.
All right, thank you.
The next meeting is the 23rd of October.
Okay.
So
And ours
2
is the,
weeks-
and
2
ours
weeks
is the,
from Wednesday.
and ours is the 20th.
Ours would be the 20th.
Okay, cool.
Is the fridge functioning now?
I don't believe so. I believe we're bringing up, is it functioning at all, Larry?
It's, the only thing that's in it is vegetables that don't need to be kept at
Specific temperature.
something down, so right now.
Because we're transporting the milks and everything else up.
We brought one of the big portable coolers from Henry Wilson that is, used completely, we've got no stuff.
Okay. For those of you listening at home, Mr. Gordon said that they brought a portable cooler up from Henry Wilson to assist with keeping some of the things cooled that need to be cooled.
Mr. Gordon, when was the last time the health inspector was in to check the temperature?
Last Friday.
Last Friday. Temperature of what? The portable?
The milk, yeah.
Oh.
The portable, just to be sure.
Yeah.
That was my question, is it working?
Okay, ma'am,
What-
can you take the microphone, please? And state your name for the record? And where you're located in town?
My name is Mary Lomax. I live on Central Street in town. And
Thank you.
My question was, how often are we doing temp checks on the things in this cooler that you have brought in, the vegetables that are in the fridge that aren't working? I know they don't need to be kept at the specific temp that most cold foods do, but there is still a range they have to be in.
Twice a day by the kitchen staff.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Any other questions about this? Any other public input? Yes, sir. If you also could just state your name and where you live in Farmington?
Sure. Rob Woodick on Governor's Road.
Yes.
I'm curious to know, this seems like a ridiculously expensive fridge. I have no idea how big they are. But are there, if it's 14,000 to replace, it's probably pretty big. I don't know. I've never been in it. But I'm just kind of curious to know if there have been outreach to companies or for either new equipment or for repairs outside of the general network that has been approached previously, just to see if there's more competition or change in the market.
Do we have an answer? The answer is yes? Okay. We're gonna have at least, hopefully, 3 sealed bids by the next meeting, so. Okay, going down to reports, curriculum report. Hello.
Hi. Let's see. Important things that are going on. So we started off the school year, you know about that. For the month of September, we've had some big curriculum, sort of sustainability, like working on PLCs and SMART goals and making sure that evaluations are done on a timely manner. The SMART goals are connected, as you guys know, to data. So we review SAS data from last year in the spring. We review our current STAR and DIBELS data, PSAT scores, as well as formative and summative assessments. So when our teams are designing their learning goals for their students, they are focused on using the data to do that. They were supposed to be due October 1st, but we've also given them a little bit more bandwidth as more data has come in and ample time to really work in their PLCs. So the majority of those SMART goals are in. We've had some curriculum mapping continuation, so we're calling it 2.0. We had our early release day on September 24th. We really had a great time. Giselle can chip in on that. We worked in heterogeneous groups, and we reflected on our Common Core state standards and what those mean for literacy. And so they had some activities where they had to like circle and check different things and then log them. So that brings us to, because that was only like a 2.5-hour session. And then they also submitted ideas that they had as teams for literacy across the district, like, or literacy at the grade level that they could initiate. So Friday, October 10th, we're gonna regurgitate those, we're gonna bring them back up. And we're actually gonna have this 3-2-1 protocol, and it's 3 things you notice about your circles, 2 things that you can do specifically in your classroom to address those circles, and 1 thing you can do as your PLC team to address the circles. And the circles were like literal circles, they were drawing around the standards, so. Or checking when they had, oh yeah, we do this and we do it well type stuff. So that, we're really looking forward to that. Also on the agenda, and Giselle wants to chime in here, we have some other things planned. We have safety protocols we're gonna review, parent communication, and our Danielson 4F standard, which is about professionalism in the workforce. So we're excited for that. I hope everyone is. Lisa has the BCBA coming in as well to work with our paras. This will be the 2nd time that we're doing that. And she's going to do her report in a second, so I won't
steal her thunder.
Moving along to goal number 3, just data analysis. So just picking up the STAR data from the beginning of the year, looking where we are in terms of literacy and math at each grade level. So that's on your report, and you can see the green and blue bar graph that highlights the math and reading proficiency for each grade. I also put in here longitudinal data so that you could sort of follow across with the colored lines as to how students were improving beginning of the year data for STAR testing. There's some interesting trends in here. For one thing, we can see that on the diagonal for the reading, we see pretty strong growth. For math, it's really interesting because we can see the learning loss that sometimes happens between grades. So, for example, if you look at grade 1, you see beginning of the year, grade 1, 55% proficiency, grade 2, 69% proficiency, and then grade 3, 75% proficiency, right? But you're also gonna see spots where grade 3, really high, beginning of the year in 24, 25, but they lose a little bit when they go to grade 4. And so in the picture of the data, we can see that there are areas of greater learning loss per se, depending on what grade you're, so, and we can think about that, right? Grade 3 to grade 4. Maybe that's expected, they're changing schools, different environment. So putting the pieces of the puzzle together on the data, but all in all, I would say, according to the STAR data, we're doing pretty well. And as you know from our SAS data, there was a good percentage of the grades that were either at state or a little bit above. So a lot of growth there, really encouraging. Really excited about that, it's nice to see. And I would also say that the staff has been really loving data. And I don't know if it's because we just keep talking about it, and finally they're like, yes, we know, we are going to enjoy this data. It's like, kind of like, you put something in front of a kid to eat for a long time, eventually they're like, well, maybe I'll try the carrots. Anyway, I'm not sure. We do have some data gurus who are like, yes, give me more, can I look at this? So it's really great, and then to translate that on our PD days to, okay, how does that mean for your SMART goal? Where are these literacy pieces? Trying to put the whole picture of the puzzle together. Okay, new teacher induction, statement of eligibilities, going on to goal 4, the site-based learning plans. I was asked to give a tally on some of those, so I did. We have 9 with statement of eligibilities, and there are 8 ready to submit their site-based learning plan. And then there are 14, they've already submitted them, and they're working through them, and they have 3 years to work through them. And one is, actually it's 2 teachers are done, they really just needed like a signature page and one other thing. So I picked that up from Colleen. We had a meeting special with those people, brought them all in. It was actually really beneficial because the people that were at the end could like talk to the people that were at the beginning. People got questions answered. The state site is very overwhelming for some people. There's lots of different links and like, it's just really could be streamlined. So I tried to streamline it and present it to them in like step 1, step 2, step 3. And they said that they were happy that we did that. Mentors and mentees was also something in the new teacher program we're working on. Met with both of them. Mentees have a monthly meeting with me. They're constantly meeting with their mentor, pulling that through. Our seminars are theme-based. Let's see, goal 5 is all about grants and grant updates. We're riding kind of status quo at the moment. We're waiting for our second allocation from the state in terms of real money. Title I, they only gave us 40%, and Title II, they gave us 20%. So we're waiting for some allocations, and I was assured by an email on October 1st, when the national budget became frozen, that there wasn't going to be a problem. So I guess those things, we don't need anything from our federal government at the moment, I guess. I'm not sure if that's true. We did get a new Discovery Education grant, so but that was easy peasy. The state set that up for us. I really didn't have to do anything except click yes, we would like it. Sora Learning.
Kim, can you put the mic down so people can hear you?
Oh.
Thank you.
Oops. Sora Learning is for the libraries, and it's free books that you can virtually check out. So we would love for every child to check out as many books as possible. What else? Maya Learning, highlights and reels. Maya Learning is up. It's running for seniors, although we met today, and there's still a couple little sticking points. That's a tech program that we're going to run out eventually 9 to 12, but we started with our seniors because they need to be doing their post-secondary planning now. And so we're working on that. Granite Ed will be coming for anybody out there who has seniors. And they will do 4 visits to our high school on college planning and FAFSA help if people need that. And tutor.com, just in the shout out, people should be using tutor.com. I have posters everywhere. Giselle is also championing it. I sat with a couple students and worked on it with them, and it was awesome. Like, the person was on the other end, they're like, draw on the whiteboard.
Yeah, and that's what I want to say. If you are a parent at home and you are doing your students' math homework with them and you don't understand it, sometimes it's just like that. It's free. If they brought their Chromebook home, it's up in the little array, the little waffle. And there's live tutors, and it is awesome.
Yep. And if they find someone they enjoy working with, they can schedule that tutor at another time. And then I guess the plain bill, thank you again to all the mentors. I see them check in. They're phenomenal. They are putting in so much time and so enthusiastic about it. And part of the Plain Build project and part of the librarians project she's doing, the Changemaker program, we sent students to the Brown Center as part of the grant funding. And people raved about it, raved and raved. So maybe at some point, we can think about maybe all freshmen, we do a big group to the Brown Center. Some schools do that, to build them into a community before they go into high school. And that is the end of my report. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions from the board?
I do.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh.
sorry.
Just on the Discovery Ed grant,
Yes.
is that a new grant or?
It's through the state, so they were just paying for it originally. So students were able to, if our school chose to do it, which we
Mhm.
had, it was just always there. And then this year, they sent out a special notice saying, if you would like Discovery Ed, we're not just gonna hand it to you.
Right,
You have
okay.
to fill out a Google form and then wait for this documentation saying $3,000 per school to pay for Discovery Ed.
Okay.
So they're kind of making us do the accounting, or something got glitchy there,
Yep.
how it was working.
Okay.
So,
Because I thought we had it before, but
Yeah.
so I just.
Way back in the day, we actually paid for it.
Yeah.
And then they paid for it for the whole state, and now they kind of want to make sure you're using it.
Right.
yeah, so I guess the grant money will appear in our grants management system at some point,
Right.
and we're supposed to accept it
And use it,
then
yeah.
pay the bill or something.
Okay. That's all I had.
For the free programs, can we promote those more at home? Like maybe through Class Dojo or the school newsletter? So that
that's a good
we,
idea.
like, hammer home that we have these free programs.
Yes, and yes. And I also have links on my website, well, not my website, your website, but my website. To go there too.
Great.
But you're right, dojo, now I guess the state has given us free dojo, like, that's another thing. The
Oh.
state is doing some okay things for us.
Good.
And the,
I mean, parents helping with math with that tutor.com, I just think, and then the free books and magazines
and it
online.
was, it
just-
was really
I think
fun.
a lot of people would take advantage of that if they knew about it.
And they started with some like, tell me what you know almost, like, but they seemed to know what to ask, and then the student could say like, well, I know I should do this, right? Is how they were typing it in, and they were like, yes, and then what? Like, so it was almost, you felt kind of like you were getting good service.
I love that.
But speaking of freebies, Larry, did you want to talk about your freebies?
We love freebies.
Yeah, come talk about freebies.
Is it cooler?
Nothing's cooler than Class Dojo.
Yes, I received a call from the state fire marshal's office yesterday. Wednesday. Anyways, they're gonna be coming in tomorrow. They've got a program with free grants where they're coming into each school and provide free CO2 detectors for the school. There's gonna be 6 for each school.
Wow.
He's coming in to replace them tomorrow morning. They'll be put, I believe, 3 around the boiler rooms and the cafeterias. They'll replace, there'll be 3 with batteries and 3 with hard wire. And some
You mean CO2, you mean
carbon monoxide,
CO.
CO, whatever. I failed chemistry, so.
Go to Twitter.com.
It's a free plug right there, free plug.
Thank you, Larry. Thank you. All right, student services.
This is my official first report, so be easy on me. So in the district right now, we have 173 special ed students, 50 students on 504s, 21 Ken Bento students. On the district, we have 11 students. Recently, we interviewed 3 candidates for the admin assistant position. And we did put forward 2 names to Giselle. And Giselle, we can report on that. I'm sorry. Do I need to start over?
No, you're fine.
Giselle did offer the position to somebody, Giselle?
And it will go forward tonight.
Yeah. So that's exciting news. I also had a conversation with Jill regarding my concerns with, we have no applicants for speech assistants. So I was trying to think outside the box and what can we do? So, we looked at the cost of our 2 speech assistants' salaries from last year, and the total was $84,000. So we're hoping that, we could hire a speech, an SLP, to, cover some of those.
So I'm gonna
services.
ask you to stick around for non-public personnel so that we can talk a little bit more about that.
Okay. So, special ed compliance, 96%. Yeah, so our last our last PD day, our BCBA worked with the paras on behavior management. Kim is great, she's our new BCBA this year, and she's also gonna be working with them again on the 24th. So, I'm pretty happy about that. Something else I learned starting here that, we used to pay $4,000, correct me if I'm wrong, for master teacher. So each para had, their own subscription. And so, where I came from, we didn't give the para subscriptions. I just had the subscription for $99. So I would be the one doing the lecturing, standing up doing the lecturing through master teacher. So it's a cost saving for us for $4,000. So,
I like it.
yeah. So,
Actually, I think it was last year, it was more like 10,000.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just think it's better, you know, I'm standing up there doing the lecture, a lot of Q&As, and it's just a conversation, you know, it's just, I
Mm.
found it effective. So,
It seems to be far more effective to have a person in the room
Right.
and having conversations about it versus being alone on a computer. And then if you have questions on how would this work with the student that I work with on a daily basis, there's someone there to talk to. And then there's also other paraprofessionals who might have worked with a student in the past to kind of say, oh, you know, have you tried this? So it's a lot of collaboration, and I know that a lot of times in the past, our paras sometimes feel isolated when it comes to the professional development, and this is definitely an attempt to bring everybody together, so.
Good.
so I'm pretty happy about that. And that's really it, I'm just still getting to know the district and, you know, being around every school. Elaine's back here at the, high school, so things are coming along.
Any questions for Lisa? Thank you.
Thank you.
Financials.
So the one thing that I can honestly say is, in your.
Oh, microphone.
The one thing I can honestly say as far as the expenditures report goes, I have worked, or tried to work very hard to get the Fund 22, the grants fund, to be able to have the budget accurately in these reports so that you guys know where we stand, what the original budget is. If you look at the adjustment columns, that's anything that we spent in prior years that I wanted you to account for. So we don't have that money. So then that comes over to your GL balance is currently what we had at the beginning of 25, 26 to spend for these grants. And then obviously as you go to your current and year-to-date, that's what we spent up to date. So then it gives you a new total as, on the end, what our balance is for the budget. So that's been a work in progress, but at least I do have the majority of them in here so that you guys can accurately see what we have for grants outstanding and the amounts that we've spent towards those. The revenue side, same thing as far as the grants goes. I'm still working with the consultants to try to figure out where the last BA didn't budget for revenues in Infinite Visions. We need to figure out what was put into the DRA as far as revenues goes so that I can properly budget in Infinite Visions for those revenue titles. So that's what our work in process is. And then food service, the state has mandated that food service not bill us until after the services are provided, whereas last year they billed us the month ahead. The state says that's a big no-no. So as of right now, you can see what we've taken in for cost, and we haven't had anything paid out yet, but that's because we haven't received the September invoice as of yet. And then you do have a new updated 24-25 budget.
Yep.
report.
Do we want to update just people in general about that we're going to be solidifying the numbers on the MS-25 a little later than anticipated?
Sure. So normally we would have the MS-25 done for September 30th. We were working on a Saturday with our consultants, and they felt that it would be better to get the numbers as close to accurate as possible. It would be better to delay doing that form. For that reason, they said that with the state, the only thing that's going to happen is the state is going to obviously be contacting us and notifying us you haven't done it on time. And yes, that's what we use to set tax rate. But there aren't any additional fines or anything like that. But they did say that we should notify you, and that you should notify the town to see if it was all right with everybody. And we did. Thank you for taking our call.
Yeah, so that board members are aware, the call came through to me. I happened to be with Stacy last Saturday, and kind of had to make a decision on the fly right there. Like, do you want us to bring numbers that aren't as accurate to the September 29th meeting, or can you give us 2 more weeks? My only question was, what's the penalty? Is there a penalty? And Rita said there isn't one. She said you were already working on an extension, but she said a lot of districts find themselves in the same situation, and there's not a penalty if it's 2 weeks later. I did call Ken Dickey, the town administrator, and let him know that it would be a couple weeks after that, we'd have a number to him that was more accurate than anticipated. And he did not seem to think that that would be a problem as far as the town on their end.
The only thing we did not take into consideration when we called you was Columbus Day weekend.
Yeah.
So it
yeah.
probably will be more like 3 weeks because nobody is coming in this Saturday to work. But we will get that done.
But the holiday's Monday.
I know, but they weren't.
Yeah, I know.
away.
We're at their mercy a little bit, so I get that. Okay. Questions on financials?
Is it just Rita that was coming in on this past Saturday? Or did we, well, I know you all were there, but I mean,
We added an additional one. David hasn't been coming because he had knee surgeries. We have Nate
okay, okay.
helping us. So.
And
So
is
we don't have
he-
David at all anymore? I know we were having him.
He's been emailing.
Okay.
He's been keeping in touch. He's gonna do some pivot tables for us remotely, but that's about it for that DOE 25.
Okay.
And so is Nate working on not like the Rita journal entry type or are they doing two separate,
So
looking at two separate things?
No, we're kind of looking, so ultimately what we've had to do is we've had to go back to previous years to kind of see where the issues happened to bring us up to current so that we would have good numbers.
Okay.
So with the two of them working together, he knows Infinite Visions very well.
Okay.
So that's kind of why she had called him in, because she's like, he knows the ins and outs of the system and whatnot. So he's been helping her with figuring out how to do certain things within Infinite Visions.
Okay.
And then ultimately it will be him and I that will work on the DOE 25.
Okay.
When's budget meeting, committee?
Is
Next week?
going to be the 21st or 28th.
Oh, okay. Any other questions? Okay. Lead
28.
remediation. Oh, 28, thank you. Lead remediation.
Oh, I thought you were looking at Kim for lead I'm like, wow.
No, Kim does a lot.
This is Brian Bose, he's with RCAP Solutions, he's been working with us for the state mandated lead remediation program, getting everything tested and everything. He's here to tell you what his company is, what we've reached and what they can do for us now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can go into detail if you like, but I want to be respectful of your time. But I was here about a year ago, and we talked about what our program could do with a nonprofit, RCAP Solutions, with funding from the US EPA to do lead remediation in schools and childcare facilities. So far with Farmington, we've done a lot to catch up with the required sampling through state law. We have done follow-up remediation, sort of interim solutions. We put point-of-use filters. Those are kind of attached to like a kitchen sink kind of thing in a few locations to ensure safe water can continue to go to the students. We've done a lot of signage as well, which is very much a short-term solution. But I'm here to kind of present the long-term remediation strategy to you, or seeking to engage with you in a memorandum of understanding to provide grant funds to implement a lot of fixture replacements. Especially, I kind of want to focus on Valley View because that's kind of where we're at. We're really ready to proceed there. Valley View being a newer school. The lead that we are going to find in the plumbing components is really limited to the fixtures themselves, faucet heads really. So we would be looking to replace outlets in the kitchen, and then the combination classroom multi-use faucets with bubblers on the bottom. We have $40,000 to reimburse the district to replace those. I am, any questions at all, I'm happy to answer. Basically, the way that it would function is we need a W-9, purchase order, and an invoice, and we will provide the funding to the district.
Is it 40,000 for district improvement, or are you talking just Valley View?
So that's just Valley View. I
Oh.
have individual plans for each school.
Okay.
The high school is very similar, being newer. That'll be the least amount of money. That plan's not quite finalized, Larry, and I need to talk that through. Henry Wilson's different, being a little older. There are a lot of drinking water fountains that have been taken offline, basically, right? They're a little older. So we would be looking to install filtered water bottle filling stations, especially over there. So I think 5 or 6 is what I'm looking at now, in conjunction with some fixture replacements in the kitchen and a couple of classrooms. So for each school, we would want to enter this agreement, and we do reimbursement, and then we have like an educational component that we do. So we'll talk to students, staff. We can do this again. I can do a presentation for the board or anyone watching. And we provide reusable bottles, and then I have like water quality sustainability plans and maintenance plans that I'll work with Larry to create and leave for the facility staff.
So we're not at a cost phase for the other 2 buildings yet, or?
We're pretty much there for Henry Wilson. I just, in a week or 2, I could have the high school done as well.
No, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. But this has been, Valley View's been ready for a little bit here, so, I have copies if you guys want them, but if you guys are gonna recycle them, I won't put you through that. And then I have information on our program, and I included there's a map of what we kind of want to do at Valley View here. So I can just leave the copies up here. And we would just want to move forward soon.
We have a public input at the end of the meeting that you can speak. We're not far from it.
Can I add something to that? So, with the bottle fillers, I think it's important to know there is one here at the high school. And there's two at Henry Wilson. There aren't any bottle fillers at Valley View, are there? At this time? No. So just to kind of, you know, if anybody's curious, like, do you have any bottle fillers? So there are two at Henry Wilson, one at the high school, so we'd be looking to add more on that.
We're open to installing bottle fill stations if that works well for the staff at Valley View, yeah. Larry and I have discussed whether, we would maybe need to get some input from teachers on, are the bubbler components in the classrooms valuable to them or not? Or if we should shift to filtered stations outside of the classroom.
So at Valley View, can they currently not fill water bottles?
There are fountains that they can use.
They do have
Just don't
access.
have bottle fillers on the fountains.
Right, so it's just like a regular water fountain.
Yeah.
That you haven't found lead.
At Valley View, I don't believe the fountains
No, they test.
have tested above, so.
Thank you.
And then the nurses station at Henry Wilson also has the filter right on it too, so that's a third place where kids can fill water bottles.
Great, thank you.
Any specific questions from the board?
What do we need to do to move forward?
Well, we gotta sign a memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
I'd like a little time to digest things.
Absolutely, I agree.
That's just me personally.
No, I would as well.
Can you stick around, because it sounds like we might have a question during our public input session, which is coming right up.
Sure.
And then maybe you can answer the question if we can't.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
School care news.
Just want to let everybody know, yes, if you've seen it on the news,
Yeah.
we're a part of school care. We just got a bill for,
$321,519.32.
Let's call it 322 just for
it wasn't budgeted for, and the bill is due January 1st.
January 1st without penalty. After that, it will be a 0.5% interest. And then if it's not paid by July, then they will cut you off.
Can someone explain to the general public that are viewing from home or that might be in attendance what this is all about?
So it's a risk pool, and many districts in the state belong to it, so it keeps insurance costs down and so forth and so on. So we belong to this risk pool, and due to unanticipated expenses, they did not collect enough money, and so now they have assessed all of the districts a bill, and it basically came to a month and a half of your regular bill. And they said that if they don't get some capital going, it could be a situation of if somebody had a surgery in the spring, they wouldn't be able to pay for it. So that's how dire things are for them. So they do understand that no district has budgeted for this, and they will try to work with us, but that it does have to be paid. And then they also did say, but if there's ever rewards, we do pass it along to you. And nobody ever complains about the rewards that are passed along. It's just the, unanticipated bill that.
When was the last time they had to go back to their members? Do
For
we know?
money?
Yeah.
I
Because I just, it's
I
not
don't
in recent,
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think this is the first.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What a time to be alive.
It does affect a lot of districts. It's been on WMUR and so forth.
Right.
And, our bill is one of the lower ones, so.
Okay, we do have public participation back on the agenda. If somebody has a question, if you could just take the mic.
I always realize how short I am when I have to move microphones. Hi, Brittany Whittick, Governor's Road. Hello to those of you I've never actually met in person. I have so many questions, but I'm not gonna waste all of your time with it. My question right now is the lead stuff. When we put our son in Valley View last year in kindergarten, that was like one of the first notices we got, right? Like, there's this school, I'm really worried about it. There's a lot of concerns that I have as a parent putting her first kid in school, period, and then in Farmington, all of that. When we got the lead notice, we never got any updates on that at all. We had a meeting with the prior superintendent or the interim superintendent, and had specifically asked him about that, and his response to us was, they're dealing with the high school right now because it has a more urgent need, and nothing else is really happening at Valley View, period. So our instruction to our then 5-year-old was, do not fill up your water bottle at school. We will send you with a water bottle. If you run out, we will send you with 2 tomorrow. Do not fill your water bottle up at school. So on that note, you had mentioned potentially doing an informational session, and as a parent who is completely uninformed and has been just telling my kid not to drink water at school, that would be amazing. Like, I know I'm not alone in that. I think Mary and I have talked about it separately, that like, we don't know what's going on.
Did we have, there is, we have it on the website, right? Or-
But it's not real information, it's just like, yeah.
Mr. Brown?
Just real quick on the lead problem, because it's been a multi-year problem in the district. Am I correct, Larry, in that anything that was found during that testing to be high concentration of lead has been taken out of service until it's remediated?
Out of service and posted, they couldn't go out of service, they're posted non-potable drinking water, so
Okay.
everything's labeled, which ones could be used.
Okay.
The kids been informed of what that means, though?
Larry, can you, so he's got the floor right now. Sorry, the reason we make people move to the mic is so folks at home can actually hear everything that's said.
Yeah, that was supposed to be, the school principals were informed what was happening, all the staff was informed what was happening. We didn't have assemblies for the kids, I don't believe, no. But it was known by all the staff what posting were for and which ones could be used and not used. And each time we had to go through 3 phases of remediation. Each time it was posted on the web, the results of what each one was. They had which ones were high and which ones were within reason.
So if we plan an informational session and we can do it here at the board meeting, I would just like to know in advance, like just not a few days before we set the agenda, and then that way we can put it on the website, can put it on our social media page. Folks that want to attend and ask questions in the public session can, and folks that just want to view from home and get the information, that would be helpful. So we just plan it ahead of time. And did that answer your question?
It did.
Yeah.
I just thought it was important that nobody was saying, we're not feeding our kids lead.
Right.
It's been taken out of commission and what's being used is within legal limits. And it's nice to hear it's going to be fixed, but it's been an ongoing multiple-year project because of the age of the buildings and the pipes coming in. But I'm here to talk about budget.
Okay, one, Ms. Whittick, did you have a follow-up question on any of that, or you're all set? Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I want to talk a little bit about budget. And I guess the first question I have is, Mrs. Pomeroy went into her seat January 1st-ish. Shortly thereafter, we brought MRI in. How often have they been in the district? What are we paying an hour and what have we paid to date for their services? Ballpark. I'm not looking to pin you down to a number, but I'm looking for a ballpark.
Well, they didn't come into the district
Till
until.
March?
Maybe,
We can look at manifests.
yeah.
Give me a ballpark. Have we spent 10,000, 20,000, 30,000?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I would
Okay.
hate to give you a number.
Nope,
that
that's
was-
fine. Here's my concern. I'm hearing MS-25, maybe 3 weeks. We're not ready. Right now, and I'm disappointed I'm not hearing it in public, the financials show that the board spent $2.5 million more than last year, of which just under $1 million is over budget, which subjects the board to removal. I'm not disappointed in Mrs. Pomeroy. I'm not disappointed in Stephanie Ham. I'm disappointed in MRI because I don't think they're giving the district the due diligence that it needs. And I'll give you an example. The first thing that you do when you look at a budget is you check your warrant articles. You check your appropriations. Is the money voted at the ballot, what's in our budget? If you look at your current financials, it's not. There's about $170,000 that's not in there. Gee, doesn't that bring that $2.5 million down? Was money that we get in from ESSER. Confirmed with DOE that we received just about $800,000 in ESSER. Our revenue reports show it. Was it applied to the expenses in Fund 10? I'm going to guess it hasn't been, and I'm going to tell you why. If you recall, the end of the 24-25 budget, ESSER ended, and it ended in September. From July 1 to September, we had money budgeted for the SRO. If you look at the line items in your budget, there's an overage, because what we budgeted was the difference from 9 months versus 12 months. So there's money from ESSER that was never applied to Fund 10. If you look at Mainstay, we applied for money with Mainstay. There's a dollar budget item in these sheets for the updated report that you just got from Mainstay. It shows over $100,000 overexpended. We got money back for that in the budget, and we got money back from it in ESSER. Sitting at that table, I can't imagine or fathom how you can spend, without knowing it, $2.5 million more than last year. It's got to be mistakes. If it's not corrected and you go to the MS-25, you're nailing the taxpayers heavy. Because if we show DRA that we spent $17 million, that tax rate's going to be incredible. Because typical years, what you have for fund balance reduces the tax rate, and it leaves cash in your bank account for cash flow, which you don't have right now. I don't know what direction has been given to MRI or what the plan is, or even if a plan exists. But folks, you're almost worse than Claremont. And it doesn't appear that there's a urgency and a plan to come out of it. And there's solutions. It can be fixed. And we're kind of looking at consultants that are coming in when we're worse than this district has ever been financially on a Saturday for a couple hours. We're not getting what we're paying for. And I don't know what you're going to do, but I can guarantee you're not going to have an accurate MS-25 in 3 weeks. Not with what I'm seeing in here in the budget. It's bad. It's nuclear. And I suggest that a plan be put together, and that plan has to be long-term wise, going all the way back to 2021 to fix the beginning bank balance that's never been fixed. I'm hearing 23, 24 is ready for an audit. Well, the audit before it said, we can't audit you because we don't have accurate bank balances. So how are we going to get there if we don't have that answer? We can find the data's there, but somebody, and it's not Mrs. Pomeroy, and it's not Mr. or Mrs. Ham, Somebody has to guide with leadership on where to find it, how to do it, and how to fix it. And you don't have that. You're not getting it. Or at least the results aren't showing it. Revenue, if you look at what's publicly available, now, we've been closed since June. Revenues at the end of June on those posted look horrible. Revenues for Fund 10, which is 100% funded, either by adequacy, taxation, or revenue, is showing a negative balance in the public financials. The federal grants are horrible. It's showing we spent more than we took in on revenue. How does that happen? So I'm hoping that a non-public or whatever, personnel, legal, I don't care what you want to call it, the board supports your administrative team and comes up with a plan to come out of it. Because the way you're headed right now, from what I see it, you're digging the hole deeper and you're putting it to the taxpayers. That's all I have to say.
Can I counter with a question?
Yep.
Do you have a resource that you know about that we don't?
Resource as far as
Well,
what?
a resource that's a better option than MRI. It sounds like you do. If you do, let us know, because
I don't.
we've
I-
posted the position. We got lousy applicants that had
Yep.
no qualifications.
Yep.
We took an in-house candidate that has a pretty decent municipal financial background, not a BA, but,
So-
and then we bring in MRI, which were highly recommended to us by our auditing firm.
Yep.
You know, as a layman, and we are laymen
You are.
and laywomen, that's what we are, folks, okay? If I was a BA, I'd be doing it somewhere, maybe here. You know, so it's been frustrating because, and I'm calling connections in other schools and saying, where do we find a BA? Good luck, you can't find any.
Right.
They're not shipping any out of programs anymore, out of schools. We can't find somebody. And, you know, I'm not gonna go make my next comment. Hindsight's 20/20, but I waved a red flag a couple years back when a previous board wanted to hire a former individual. I was the only one that waved that red flag, but we hired that individual anyway, and then had to abruptly part ways. So yeah, it's frustrating to sit here and to know the situation we're in.
So, to answer your question, Joel, I don't know a resource. I could do it, but there's a phenomenal amount of work in here, and that's well beyond volunteering. When I say MRI, I just want to clarify that from what I understand, I've seen her work prior, because she did work for the board when I was on there, and I know her reputation. Rita is a phenomenal accounting, line adjusting person. So when data is being found and changes need to be made, I have confidence in her work product. What I don't have confidence in is seeing these numbers in Fund 10. The first question that has to be asked is, how does that happen? Do I think you spent $2.5 million over your budget, to be honest with you? No. Do I think the financials are messed up? Yes. Are you going to be hung to dry if this goes in to set the tax rate? Absolutely. So I don't have a solution for you, Joel, and I wish I did, because I'd tell you what that is. But I don't think we're getting the guidance, and I don't think we're getting the digging into these books that needs to. And you've got three problems. You got an audit to get ready for 23, 24. You're trying to close the books for this, and you're in a different budget right now that you have to watch, because if that's not watched closely, you end up the same way at the end of this year that you were last year. Those are big problems to have on your shoulders, and I'm glad it's not on my shoulders. And I'll kind of close that with, if you can find the holes and the deviations if they're there. Problems like the increase in the healthcare that came in tonight, 300,000. Well, if there's 300,000 left over next year, if these are bad bookkeeping problems because of prior employees, if you have 300,000 left over at the close of the year, you've got a 5% contingency fund prior to signing the MS-25 that you can put that towards that bill. And it's not coming out this year's budget. You've done it in prior years for the sprinkler system. The other option that you have is on your balance sheets. And I followed the financials of the school district for a number of years. It's over $500,000 encumbered for continuing projects. Typically, that's multi-year construction projects that the money's been appropriated by warrant articles. We don't have any. That money needs to come off the balance sheet and be released. Prior to signing the MS-25, you've got $184,000 on your balance sheet or thereabouts, last time I looked at it, for encumbrances that were never spent. Those need to be released. There's $600,000 in cash being freed up towards your cash flow. But MRI is not telling you that. And it begs the question, why? And we're at the end of the race. We're on that final lap. And we're either going to get it right or get it wrong. But I'm disappointed, and I see you headed for a crunch. And I like the board. I don't want to see you make that fall. I don't know what you can do, but I don't want to see you crash and burn. But that's where you're headed. And I know at least two of you, I know the level of your budget intelligence. And that's not being a negative comment. That's why I'm here, so you can see it and hear it at how bad it is. And the public needs to know how bad it is. Because if we're looking at a $3 per thousand, people need to prepare for that, because that bill's coming up just around Christmas. So with that, any questions, you know how to get a hold of me.
Thank you. Any other public input?
I just had two questions.
Sure.
One question is, as a board, what are the number of openings that are available in the school positions for the district? How many? Is it 20, 30, 10?
I'd have to defer to administration. It's a lot less than last year, that.
Yeah.
For classroom teachers, it's 1. For special ed case managers?
We do have admin assistants that we need to fill.
Like, more like the back end kind of business pieces, that sort
Oh,
of
well,
thing?
we need a second secretary at Hunter Wilson, a second secretary at the high school.
Mhm.
We need the special ed, but that's being nominated tonight.
Would you say it's like 20 then, maybe, at best?
I'm trying to pull up the
Yeah,
ed jobs.
I was just curious.
So I
Well,
can,
that jobs isn't always accurate.
well, no, but it'll give,
Do you guys also know what your turnover rate is? I'm just thinking in terms of like the budget and things like, just even kind of piggybacking off of that. Costs a lot to hire and fire people, so I'm like, trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. How well we know.
Do we know what?
There are-
I don't have a turnover rate, no.
no.
Is that something you guys generate?
There's 24 open positions listed on ed jobs right now, but I don't know how many.
Includes like substitute bus driver,
Right,
substitute custodian,
exactly.
substitute, so.
Coaches,
probably
it
about
includes coaches,
Yeah.
subs, that kind of stuff.
If we do
So-
that analysis, pull up all the districts in the area, because I work for Rochester School District and we're hurting too.
Yeah.
And we actually pay our pairs more.
How many people are employed with the district? Do we know that number? Currently. Minus the 24.
I know how many teachers. 87.87.
For PD day, we plan for, what'd you say?
So, teachers,
Yeah.
paras, case managers.
Is that a number you can pull up, Stephanie? Stephanie's pulling it up.
Stephanie's,
Yeah,
pull-
Stephanie's
yeah.
more.
We get about 163 employees.
163, does that include janitors and
Yep,
and lunch personnel and all of that?
Yep, and transportation, bus drivers.
And
Well, the lunch
Well, not
personnel's
lunch.
not us.
No.
Yeah, that-
Well, that's true, you guys hire outside, that's right. All right, nope, thank you, that's what I wanted to know, just getting some numbers in my head.
Anyone else? Okay. Our next meeting is October 20th, 2 weeks from tonight. We have some manifests. Do we have manifests tonight?
I do have some.
You have some? Okay. To sign, and I will entertain, I'd like department heads and admin to stay for the personnel session, if you would, please. I'll entertain a motion to go into non-public session 1 under RSA 91A:3, 2A, B, and C, excuse me, for personnel.
So moved.
So moved by Mrs. Johnston, second by Mrs. Lozay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, folks.
Good night.
Night.